As I was taking attendance at Columbine, March 1999, just 1 month before the Columbine shooting, I kept calling his name. Dylan Klebold. The cheerleader responds every time I call his name. I ask, "Is he here? Why do you keep answering for him?" At first, it just seems like an outgoing individual is answering for a classmate. After the shooting, it came out the cheerleaders were bullying him. I too have felt invisible, and there are times when I wish that I couldn't be seen. Dylan and Eric wanted to be remembered. They wanted a spot in history. They solidified this. Both young men's pictures are immediately recognizable. Every school shooting is compared to Columbine. As an adult and a teacher, I was bullied. Nikki, Liz, and Tricia were the special education teachers at Conifer, where I also taught. Ironically, Tricia was even a social worker. They were quite the bullies. Once when the office door slammed, I felt the floor and glass shake. I saw Nikki screaming at Alicia, my colleague. I found out she was not giving me my messages to make me look bad. I remember dreading going to work. At Red Rocks, I remember Sue Klebold speaking to my death and dying class about the grief side of suicide. She showed pictures of her son Dylan's life. I saw a senior picture, the one all over the media. Then his mother showed a picture of him on his bike at age 4 or 5, his baseball photo from childhood. There was a softness about it. A grieving mother sharing her story, the grief of losing a child to suicide, murder-suicide, still suicide. I was about 11 when I finally went to Mrs. Wasaki about my being shoved into a locker. I finally mustered up the courage to say something. The response I got was, "Well, she's having a hard time at home. Give her some leeway." Whether done over the internet, through acts of physical violence, or the most common type, verbal abuse, bullying runs deep. Michelle Baker coins the phrase in her article, "Bullying runs deep, breaking the code of silence that protects bullies." She says, quote, "Living by the code of silence is often a matter of life and death," end quote. I am no longer emotionally held captive. I now have a voice for myself as well as the victims. Will you speak for them too?